Hi, looks like we're live. So today's stream is brought to you by Time Warner Business Class Cable. $409 a month after taxes and fees comes out to about 450, 460 bucks. Today we're going to be getting started on an 820-3437 board that is not turning on. It has come to us filled with flux, filled with signs that somebody else has messed with it. It's missing a JTAG connector. And let's see what we can get done here. Let's see if I can actually... all right, let's lower bitrate first. Okay, so on my 20 megabit per second connection, let me lower my bitrate from 9 megabit to 5500 kilobit per second. Does that do it? Come on. I also want to say thank you to Nitrocaster for making this little overlay for me. Very nice overlay. I gotta say thank you. So Dimitri, I messaged you. You are the winner of the Intel NUC from the last stream, so do let me know the address to send this thing to. I already sent you a message. Today's giveaway is going to be this little 12-volt battery. It's a little rechargeable 12-volt battery that I got for an old microphone setup that I no longer own, so I no longer need this thing. So enter for a chance to win by leaving a comment below, and you'll get this half opens 12-volt lithium-ion battery. So let's get on to the actual... Wow. Okay, let's lower the bitrate again. That's a lot of drop frames, Time Warner. What the fuck? What the fucking bullshit? Okay. Is there a stream? Can I even do this today, or should I just go home? 3,456 frames lost in 2 minutes. Anyway, okay, let's see. Okay, so it seems if I lower the bitrate on my 20 megabit connection to 4.5 megabit that I can actually stream. Thanks, Time Warner. Thanks. So let's take a look at what this thing looks like as we continue to drop frames. So it looks like the JTAG has been removed. Oh, there we go. It's counting up, counting up. So over here, we have one pin that looks really nasty, and I'm going to keep track of that and remember what that is, because we're going to have to come back to that later. It looks like the inrush limiter has been replaced. It looks like the U7100 has been replaced. It looks like the SMC has some corroded resistors by it. This one's missing the entirety of a PP3V4 2-pin, so if I were to just check out the board view software over here, we would, the board view software, show up, Landrex, properties. Yeah, show me my Landrex. Do I have more than one Landrex open? Oh. That's odd. Why isn't my Landrex showing up? You refused to repair my 2915 a week ago cancer board. Probably with good reason, because it wasn't going to work for much longer after I fixed it, that's for sure. Okay, I'll close this window, reopen you. There we go, 820-3437. Bam. Okay, so we have this... Huh, so I can't show my PDF reader on the screen anymore? What the? Oh, that's... Well, what did I do? Landrex. All right, let's try restarting. Okay, so over here we have this little burned looking resistor. And if we look on the board view software, it looks like that burned looking resistor is a pull-up resistor for SMS int L. SMS int L. Wonder what that's for. Not really sure what SMS int L is for, but I'm pretty sure it's being pulled up for a good reason. So let's check that out. And also, I might as well put my... I don't know. I don't know if I can fit my drop frames counter on this screen. Can I? Let's see. I'd like to have my drop frames counter on this screen, too. Here we go. Yep, restarted OBS. So, we're 332 drop frames already. Okay, so let's just see what I'm getting. I'm pretty sure that that resistor, that pull-up resistor, is completely destroyed. But just to confirm, I'm gonna hope it's something simple, since all the other points are kind of taken. So it looks like we have 0.15 volts there, and at the top of that resistor, obviously, we're not going to have anything. There's no PP3V42 there. But we do get PP3V42 on the board itself, at located at a different resistor location. So I think I could probably just knock that little resistor off the board without even having to think twice about it. So I could probably just do this and do one of those things like what Jessa does. Let's see here. Probably just monetize the drop frames. If only I got paid by the drop frame. All right, so PP3V42 is not going to be, that's going to be a mess trying to get that over there. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to grab PP3V42 from another nearby location. So it looks like I can grab PP3V42 from right over here, up there, and then I could run it over to here, and then I could replace that resistor and be set. The drop frames need their own stream. I agree. All right, so let's get started. I should probably put my micro pencil iron on here. That would be a bit more of an appropriate piece to use. And let's see if that pull-up resistor is needed for something. Yeah, I restarted Open Broadcaster. That's why the drop frames count went back to where it was. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do here, tin this section. Get it ready for a new resistor. If you're dissatisfied with the quality of this stream, then you should let Time Warner know that they should give me better internet for my $409 a month. Wow, that resistor went away too, very quickly. Feel free to let Time Warner know that they should provide me with better internet for my $450 after tax. I'd have no problem with that at all. Because this is this. It's one thing if I wasn't willing to pay. It's one thing if I had the consumer version, not the business version. I got that business class internet, and it is still awful. It's some of the worst, god-awful shit you could imagine. It's got great routing to a speed test site. It's got great routing to that stuff. But YouTube, Restream, Twitch, the routing magically becomes really, really bad. It's funny how that works. Funny how you get great routing to all these other sites, but the main media sites, you get shit. Lols. Alright, so. So, let's put those resistors on. Go from there. You have 20 up? No, I pay for 20 up. I pay for 20 up. Nitrocaster will let you know exactly what I get for that 20 up. I like Mainland X's conspiracy theory there. That's one quality conspiracy theory. Ooh, I just heard a noise, but I can't see anything. Thank you to Raven. It's very kind of you. Let's see. Now, hi, Dan. Hi, Paul. How's it going? Alright, next we'll go over the other resistor. Alright, so now we've attached the resistor, the pull-up resistor, for SMC int whatever, but now we need to pull it up with PP3V42. Yeah, I didn't mean pull it up by actually moving it up. That was a mistake. Let's put this back down. What about 24-hour stream? Maybe for Christmas time we'll do a Ulog stream. I have to find a board that's shorted well enough that I can actually have the short burn out for 24 hours, just like a Ulog would burn for a long time. That would be a fun one. Okay, so we're just going to scrape some of that enameled wire so that the insulation comes off, and then run that wire from here to here. And bam. Now I also suspect that liquid got onto the SMC. If liquid was able to get to that area, it probably got onto the SMC. So giving the SMC a light reflow seems like the right thing to do. I'm sick of seeing that chip. I know, Tim. I know. I'm tired of SMCs too. No, we don't get anything easy anymore, do we, Tim? Paul, I saw that you moved on from Open Board View, and you've developed amazing software, this Board View software that all of you see me using. Paul had a lot to do with that. He put a lot of time and effort in, and we should all appreciate it. And by appreciate it, I mean everybody who uses it should give him 50 bucks. At least. That would be the nice thing to do. Paul deserves it. Hi, Dad, says Bydon's Gaming. I'm not old enough to be a dad. What? Hey, 10K dropped frames. Look at that. You're killing it, Spectrum. Good job, Time Warner. Alright, so let's reflow this SMC. Hide that. Tim says, I used to get easy stuff. Now it's just miserable stuff that no one wants to work on. Yep, that's how it works. The more you share, the less you get stuff that's simple, and the more you get the stuff that's a nightmare. Why? Internet in the States is shit. In fucking Eastern Europe, you get 300 for something like 20 a month. Yeah, but in Eastern Europe, you also have the economy of Eastern Europe. I know, I've had immigrants from Eastern Europe, and trust me, they're quite happier here with the shitty internet. If you look at the size of a lot of the countries in Eastern Europe, I mean, they're the size of this state. Like, look at the United States on a map, or just drive through the United States and look at the size of it, and then look at the size of those Eastern European countries, and you have your answer. But a big part of the problem is that in the 30s, a lot of telecoms were all, hey, we're not going to wire these people unless we get to have a regional monopoly. And the government, instead of saying, no, fuck you, somebody else will come along and do it if you don't want to do it, you crying bastards, they gave in and gave these people regional monopolies. And that is why in the financial capital of the world, a city with 8 million people, you have like 2 choices for internet. It's fucking bullshit. But what are you gonna do? Alright, so I just saw it reflow. Yeah. I have depression after feeling lost after accident and several surgeries. Your channel has helped keep my mind busy and have had hope to get training after disability and lost career. That's awesome. I'm glad. All right. Don't want to turn it on while it's still boiling. This is my cooling technology. You ever order components individually, such as commonly bad resistors, or is it all donor boards? Some really common things I have ordered. Let's see if I can show you some of the common stuff. Can I move this tripod much? Yeah, so I got these bins over here with all the stuff that I regularly use. So I got this. And then I got the other one down here. Then I got another up there. So anything that I regularly use, I've got in bins, and I also sell a lot of that stuff as well. Speaking of selling, yeah, where's my ad? Need my ad. Yoink. Where you can buy any of those parts. So I do stock a lot of standard stuff. Okay, so let's see what I get now. So I'm going to plug this thing in, turn it on. So I got it plugged in, and I got myself a green light. Now it's an orange light, which is a happy thing to have. Look at that little happy orange light. So now we're going to check a couple of main power rails and see what we get as a result of that. So let's just turn the multimeter back on. Shill time, indeed. So we need PP3V4 too, but we know we have it because that's showing up. So now we check PP-Bus G3 hot, and it looks like PP-Bus G3 hot is giving us 1 volt. Well, that's some horse shit. Alright, so 1 volt is not enough. We need a lot more than 1 volt. So let's turn the power off the charger, and now let's see if we have a short to ground on PP-Bus G3 hot. PP-Bus G3 hot is one of our main rails. So Game Boy, if you could tell me if the audio stopped crackling, that would be awesome of you. Now, if we go to one of these pages in the schematic is going to give me a list of rails that I need to check. Right up here. These are all my main power rails, and PP-Bus G3 hot is the first one. That's going to be over here. So let's see what the resistance to ground is there. And it seems like there's no short circuit to ground that's noticeable. I were to put this in diode mode to get a different result. Yeah, so there's no short circuit to ground. Let's take a look at some of the... I lost the double digits. Shit. You're right. Yeah. Fuck. I didn't... Wow, that's a lot of drop frames. Anyway. So let's just check some of the basics by the circuit that creates PP-Bus G3 hot, which is going to be in the U7100 area. This is sad. This internet connection is unstreamable. Takes away the fun of it all. So this chip is going to be responsible for creating that. So let's see if on R7120... The whole idea here is it's going to take voltage from the charger, and that voltage is going to go through this transistor. Then it's going to... Thank you, Lewis, for all you do. Thank you to Paul and Nicole Rhodes. Very kind of you. I'll put it towards my legal fund when Time Warner sues me for using their logo. So on R7120, I should be getting the 18 volts from the charger through. Then the ISL6259 here is going to control this transistor, and it's going to tell this transistor turn on, off, on, off, on, off, and it's going to split that 18 volts from the charger into little bits and pieces until you have a bunch of bits and pieces, and that's supposed to and those bits and pieces of 18 and 0, 18 and 0 will average out to 8.5. So let's see if the charger voltage is coming through on pins 2 and 4 of R7120. So R7120 is going to be up here by the SSD, and I'm looking at pins 2 or 4 right over there. Paul, thank you so much for developing this software. I wish the best for you and all of your future endeavors. I really do. Anybody deserves success and good things in life, it's Paul Daniels. So it looks like we're only getting 0.9 volts out of this transistor. That's because I forgot to turn the charger back on. Whoops, I'm a dumbass. Okay, let's see. It looks like we are getting 1 volt out of the transistor. Okay, so that's bullshit. We're only getting 1 volt out the transistor. And it looks like 18 volts is making its way to the motherboard. Actually, you can't see that shit. Nah. Okay, so over here, it looks like we have 1 volt coming in by the DC input MOSFET. The DC input MOSFET is this thing up here. So outside the DC input MOSFET, we're only getting a volt in. It looks like before the DC input MOSFET, which is going to be PPDC and G3 hot, down here we're getting 18.445 volts. So charging voltage is making its way through to the motherboard. Charging voltage is making its way through to the motherboard. Have a wireless headset, cheap $99 Samsung XPD1. What sort of dB level should I aim for? I can't seem to get over 12 dB with normal voice, or is that normal? Minus 12 or to 10, minus 10. What you could do, Paul, are you using Linux or are you using something else? Because you could, if you're using Linux, you could use this jack audio thing that I could never figure out, but you could because you're a programmer, and then you could put a limiter on there so that it brings the audio levels up. So I use something similar to that here. I have this set up, so I use this shit. So like, yeah, I'll show you how this works. So I have this program called Pedal Board, and you can see, or can you see actually? Where's display capture sign? Thank you to Kevin Peterson. Okay. Why is display capture capturing something else than what I'm showing on my screen? Huh. Okay, so I would love to show you what I have on my screen, but it looks like I can't because because OBS is glitching. So we'll go. Anyway, I'll show you later, Paul. Remind me to show you later. But you could run plugins in line that help you with that. Paul Daniels, the magician. Paul is a magician. He's better than the magician. So why isn't this transistor here opening? Using Mac OS because the MacBook does a better job. Okay, so then so I want you to find a software called Pedal Board, Paul, and then you're going to run your audio through Pedal Board. I'm loathing, thanks, Mr. Miyagi, bow of respect. Learning, not loathing. I need to make my window larger. Well, thank you to Fernando H., but who is Mr. Miyagi? That must be related to that mysterious senpai character people keep calling me. Yeah, you try Pedal Board, Paul, and then run a VST limiter in line. And I'd show you if Open Broadcaster would let me. That's what you want to do, Paul. Anyway, so let's check this out. So I want to see what voltage is going into my inrush limiter. So let's check at C7185. C7185. And that's going to be down here, PPDC and G3 hot, on my capacitor, next to this very, very nasty looking, very fucked up looking ISL area. And it looks like, wait, oh, it's supposed to be on this side. I get 18.46 volts. Or 18.46 volts here. Does he check this chat? If you have something to say. Let's see. So, and on the other side, this is going to be a dual P-channel MOSFET, so that's supposed to open when the voltage on the gate is lower than the voltage in the source. And it looks like the first MOSFET here should be opening, because as you saw, on this side of the capacitor I get 18, and on this side over here, on the gate, I'm getting 7. So this should be opening. Now what I'm interested in is seeing if the second side is opening. So let's go over to R7180. Check out pin 2. And it's 1 volt. But that's because I think inside of this thing it's not opening. Q7180 is not opening in the inside. That's what's going on here. So there's no way for me to measure pin 7, 10, 8, or 9 of this thing. So this is opening the way it's supposed to. But then for some reason, this is not working the way it's supposed to. This is an interesting one. So how would I measure pin 7, 8, 9, or 10 of this IC without taking it off the board and therefore removing my ability to properly test it? Like, what the... Yeah, that's an interesting one. So perhaps that chip on there just so happens to be bad. That could be that could be a theory. Let's test that theory now. So we're going to get rid of this. This is the inrush limiter, Q7180. Kind of curious if there's any shorts to ground under here. $7 million ohms, 6 million ohms, 6 million ohms, 5 million ohms, 3 million ohms, 5 million ohms. Oh well, oh well, oh well, oh well. Alright, so not much to worry about in that realm. Lewis, you should tweet this at Time Warner. I doubt that they would care. I sincerely doubt that Time Warner would give a shit. I do not believe Time Warner would give a crap. I think that this is... yeah. They would laugh. They would lulls. Let's lower the bitrate even more. Let's make this look like a cell phone, like an iPhone 3GS camera. You track and get rebates for outage. Well, the thing is, in order to do that, you have to stay on hold. And when it comes to these issues, you'll be waiting on hold for 3 to 6 hours, and the amount of money I could make in 3 to 6 hours is the amount for the store is more than the amount of my monthly internet connection. So they got you there. If only government didn't allow ISPs to be a monopoly 70 years ago. Or phone companies, at least. I shouldn't say ISPs. There were no ISPs 70 years ago. But okay, we're going to cool that off. We're going to see if that fixes our problem. Let's see if we have any changes. Shall we? Oh, duh. Voltage. So it looks like we are getting 18 volts through now. Okay, what does PP bus G3 hot measure? PP bus G3 hot is a solid 8.58. Let's see what CPU V-core is. CPU V-core is a solid 1.7, which means that if there was a fan connected to this, it would be spinning. Which means that we're done. So let's just turn off some of this noisy stuff so that we can explain what was going on with this board, how it came in, the problem with it, and how we fixed it in spite of... Just toss some of this noisy stuff off my desk so that it looks like we succeeded in the repair. So this showed up with a bunch of flux around a bunch of different areas. It showed up with flux around the entire top side of the board. The JTAG connector was missing. There was flux all over the top side of the board, and also around U7100 over here. U7100 over here had a bunch of flux around it. And it also looked like Q7180 had already been replaced. And what was happening was we were getting 0 volts on PP bus G3 hot, or like 1 volt, 0 volts around there. So then we trace it back all the way up here, and I'm getting 1 volt over here. So this is where the voltage is supposed to be coming through. This is the 18 volts from the charger, so that this can switch that 18 volts into slices of 18 volts, so that it can be then averaged out into the slices of 18, 0, 18, and 0 to be 8.5. So that was not happening. There's no 18 volts through here. So if we go up to here, you'll see that there was 18 volts on the input of this transistor, and then 0 volts in the output. So we look inside, and this is a P-channel MOSFET. This P-channel MOSFET, Q7180, is supposed to open when the voltage in the gate is lower than on the source. Now we have 18 volts on the source, and then this voltage divider of R7186 and R7185, which is controlled by U7100, since U7100 gives this a path to ground over here. This was working just fine, and the ISL was doing its job. The ISL was allowing R7186 pin 2 to go to ground so that this could be a voltage divider, and since this is a voltage divider, it would ensure that the voltage in the source of Q7180 was always higher than the voltage in the gate of Q7180. So I had confidence that this was working. But the problem is that this was not opening over here, which means that either this first transistor was broken and not outputting anything, or it could mean that the second transistor was not working, or it could most likely mean that the connection between these two drains of these two MOSFETs inside of Q7180 internally were broken. So somebody actually took the time and effort to replace Q7180 in the first place. They put the time in to replace it, and in spite of that, it was also bad, and which is very common. You grab these parts off donor boards. It's not like you can find these things. Like let's see if I can find this thing online. You won't be able to see it because my damn screen capture thing isn't working. But if I look online for this thing, it looks like there's no place in America that sells it. If I want to buy it, I have to buy this thing from China, and it looks like it's $4 a piece for this plus shipping. That's a lot. That really is a lot. So piece of shit. Open Broadcaster's being silly today. Yeah, I don't get it. That's weird. I know. So that's it, and that's one of the very, very common problems when you notice that your charger is not working. Do keep in mind that the traditional MagSafe needs to see a load in order to work. So what I use is this HP Agilent 6542A power supply because I'm sick and tired of killing my chargers, because all of these Apple chargers, when you're plugging them into liquid damaged boards on a regular basis, have a tendency to stop working. So I use this charger, but the Apple charger is not going to put out voltage unless it sees a load. It needs to see the load of the system. So over here, remember, almost every rail inside the computer is created from PP bus G3 hot. Almost every rail inside the machine is created from PP bus G3 hot, and if you don't have that rail, if you don't have the path to that rail present, meaning if you look at this, and this is essentially the gate to everything in the system. If this doesn't open, and this opens, and this allows power to go through to PP bus G3 hot. And once voltage goes through PP bus G3 hot, every single rail in the system is a sub-rail of PP bus G3 hot. Almost every rail is a sub-rail of that. So in order for the charger to see any load at all, that transistor needs to open. And if it doesn't, then it won't, the system, the charger that's plugged in won't see a load. And these chargers need to see a load in order to work. If you just try to take your multimeter and just try to measure the pins of a MagSafe, you're going to get something between 0 to 3 volts. It's not designed to put out voltage without a load, which is a good thing because these pins are all very easily exposed. So if you notice that your charger is not putting out voltage to any rail, you should look at the inrush limiter first, because that's often the problem. And it's the same thing holds true for... Jason, you're on camera. What are you, a fucking cam girl now? Really? Close the door. Oh my God. Anyway. So Q75.
Did he undress or what?
Well, this is, now you're making me laugh.
You gotta change the camera.
I gotta change the camera angle. Where should... Oh. So if your charger is putting out 3 volts or less, or 0.2 volts, it's very common that you'll see it putting out 0.2 volts or 0.248 volts or something like that. If you have 0.2 volts all over the system, check the inrush MOSFET, which is typically by the ISL6259 or ISL6258 chip on really old boards, and that's going to be over here. That's this thing. This is the inrush limiter. On the older machines, it's going to be same general idea. If we look for U7000, this is a machine that's about 2 or 3 years older. You have 2 inrush limiter chips, but it's the same general concept. And you're going to see this happen much more often with the ones that look like this, these gold-looking flat transistors. So these ones, these rarely fail. You will very rarely notice this one fail. But these over here, they fail a lot more often. Just my experience. It's just my experience. So with that, I will get to your questions, and then I will get out of here. So let's see what any of your questions are. How many frames can I lose today? And GTFO. I wonder how there are no shorts under the chip after soldering. There's no way we can see what's happening under. Just don't put too much solder. And also, keep in mind the transistor itself, that pad is going to take up some of the solder. It's going to stick to that. It's not going to want to stick to everything else. Do you have a link for that frame drop counter? Nitrocaster should have one. He's in chat. Look up Nitrocaster. He also makes some really cool stuff like that Lenovo X220 high-resolution 1080p mod. Imagine me if I was intelligent, and that's Nitrocaster. Like your channel, you do a good job. Stand on ground in life and work. I'm happy to see you live. Thank you. There is a ghost behind me. There's no ghost behind me. I guess if there's an eagle or whatever this thing is behind me, but there's no ghost. That's actually amazing. Wow. JTAG kill. Yes, this had the JTAG. The JTAG did not survive. I understand that people want to remove the JTAG. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that the people who watch these videos want to jump to destroying the JTAG. It's a good instinct, but it's not always the answer. Whoa. This is some strong shit. Hello. Let's all call Time Warner to fix the Internet of Lewis and to move their asses from the chairs. That is the kindest thing that anybody's ever offered to do for me. I don't think that Time Warner is going to care. But if you did call them, that would be a very kind thing to do. Make my internet great. Not again, because Time Warner internet has never been great. But this internet drives me to drink. Fan spin, yes. What are your plans for the giant green screen in the bathroom? The giant green screen is going to get used for something, and wouldn't you like to know, Jessa? Yeah. You don't know yet, but we got something good planned for that green screen. Involving iPad rehab. And Jess's, can't give it away. What do you think of same-sex couples adopting children? It can't be worse than single motherhood, so... I mean, if we're going to have such high instances of single motherhood, I can't see how it hurts to have... I would take same-sex couple over single parents any day, actually. I will call Time Warner and ask them to refund me pro rata. Yes, but you have to understand. You have to understand that to call Time Warner means to stay on hold with Time Warner 4 hours and then get hung up on. Especially if your internet, if your phone system is voice over IP and set up to Time Warner Internet. Because then every time the internet goes down, your phone call drops and you got to start waiting on hold all over again. Does Lewis read Twitch or YouTube? Lewis reads nothing. Fantastic works as Guy Bison. Thank you. It means you have to pay $14K. Yes. I have one Retina touch bar, doesn't power on. You have any schematics for this? I don't have schematics for the touch bar, but if somebody does have schematics for the touch bar, it would be very, very wrong and fucked up for somebody to do something like put a $500 bounty on all of the touch bar schematics. That would be wrong, that would be immoral, and that would be something that I really think would be reprehensible to suggest. A $500 bounty provided by technicians for somebody to leak the fucking touch bar schematic. Would be awful. Somebody could just, not do that. That would be great. EV blog, Dave Jones is talking about an internet provider, NBN. Check his video. I like Dave Jones. I'll have to check that out. Dave Jones is a good channel. Before the hostile takeover of iPad rehab, open my package may be relevant. You found the problem, close the door. Packets lost there. Where? They're escaping out the window, are they? All right, so it's about time to get up out of here. It's about time to get up out of here. So as I said in the beginning of the stream, just in case anybody missed it, Dimitri, answer your YouTube messages. You won the Intel NUC. Congratulations. I just need to know where to ship it. The next giveaway of shit that I need to give away is this 12-volt lithium-ion rechargeable portable battery. I used to use it for a microphone setup that I no longer own, so I don't need it. and it's one of the many things that I need to give away. I have a link to it below if you want to look at the specs of it or what it is. There's a link in the description. And whoever messages me, not messages, I shouldn't say, whoever comments as to why I should send this to them will be entered into a random drawing to win this thing, and I'll announce the winner on the next stream, and we'll continue the process of throwing away all this shit that I have in my office. Some of you don't believe that I have too much crap here, but I really kind of do. It's like, I mean, I don't need like 90% of the crap in this office is just crap. It's crap. Garbage. And needs to go. So I'm going to continue with this. And that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. And above all, where is it? Here? 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 No, it's like right. Yeah, here. Fuck these people. And have a nice day. And as always, I hope you learned something.